This is Cora Dive, bringing you another reading of mythology. Today we are going to the British Isles and another Arthurian legend. Today we are reading Shadows of the Past. Let's begin, shall we? For the first time in years, Britain was at peace, united under Arthur the High King. While Arthur dispensed justice from his court at Camelot, his valiant knights kept the country safe from villains, rogues, and bandits. Although Arthur felt a great deal of personal satisfaction in seeing his kingdom flourish, he felt an emptiness inside he could not describe. Finally, he confided in his old mentor and friend, Merlin the Wizard. Merlin, are you ever lonely? If by lonely you mean alone, then yes, eternally. Ever since I was a little boy, I've been, different, strange, odd. I'll supply my own adjectives, thank you, but that's the general idea, although being special made me lonely. It also gave me the power to change things, so I learned to live with my loneliness and committed myself to changing this country. And through you, I believe I have. I know I wouldn't trade anything for Camelot or all the good it's done. And this is just the beginning. Camelot will become mightier yet. I can't help feeling great pride in this. You, Arthur, are my legacy, but I fear I may have passed my loneliness on to you. It's an unfortunate side effect of being a leader. At least other rulers have a family to give them comfort. What am I, chopped liver? You know what I mean. Blood relatives, parents, brothers, sisters. Family is a horrible burden for a king. His relatives are like a brood of vipers, all waiting for him to falter so they can sink their fangs into him. So a king cannot even trust his own family, especially not his own family. Sometimes I think you're too cynical, Merlin. No, just realistic. Oh, Chup, my boy, I hate to see you like this. You've accomplished so much in your short life to feel distraught. Perhaps you're right. That's the spirit. Now, tomorrow I must be off again. More business abroad. But I will return soon. Make sure Camelot is still standing when I return. Ha! The following day, as Arthur sat upon his throne receiving guests and petitions from his people, a fanfare of trumpets announced a special visitor. An elegant lady wearing a striking green gown paraded into the presence of the king. Walking stately at her heels were her 4 sons. Sir Kay, Arthur's foster brother and seneschal, stood forward with a smirk to greet the lady. Well, 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 if it isn't Queen Margaret of Orkney, the wife of the traitor King Lot. You have a lot of nerve to show yourself in this court. Kay, regardless of what has passed between me and Lot, we must greet this lady graciously. Noble king, I have come from our distant kingdom to present myself and my sons at court. Where's your husband? At home plotting another rebellion. Kay, the past is in the past. Once a rebel, always a rebel, as I say. My lord, you are most gracious. As a sign of our goodwill, I have brought our oldest son, Gawain, to live here at your court as a squire. The tallest boy, a strong-looking lad around the age of 12, stepped forward. My king, I will do my best to serve you. Perhaps he will be more loyal than his father was. Ignore him, Gawain. I accept your service. Queen Marquis, tonight we will feast. I am sorry that your husband could not visit Camelot himself. Yeah, we'd especially like to give him a tour of the dungeons. A banquet was held that evening in Camelot. The king seated the elegant queen next to him and feasted happily. Partially to drown his loneliness, Arthur overindulged in the royal wine. My lady, it's a shame that you cannot visit my hall more often. You're a charming creature. The isolated Isles of Orkney must be a lovely place for you. It is true, my lord. I am very lonely. My husband has little time for me. Your compliments are the first I've had received in such a long time. A shame. You're truly a stunning woman. The queen laid her hand gently on the king's arm. You too, my lord, are most handsome. Whoever will be your queen is a lucky woman. The king smiled. Steward, more wine! For Arthur, the rest of the evening was lost in a haze. The next thing Arthur knew, he was in his royal chambers with the morning light shining through the window. He shielded his eyes from the enemy sun. Then he noticed the dark form of Merlin seated upon the edge of his bed. Merlin, what are you doing here? Has something happened? Well, you tell me. Your visitor showed herself out hours ago. Nearly noon now. Visitor? Queen Marquis of Orkney? What? You mean last night? Oh, no. Tell me I did not. Oh, don't sound so shocked. This seems to run in your family, going after other men's wives. Your father was Uther Pendragon, but your mother was married to another. Oh, don't lecture me, Merlin. I feel bad enough as it is. Oh, you're going to feel much worse after this next bit of information. When Lady Ingrid, that's your mother, married your father, she already had 3 daughters by her first husband. And Lady Marquis was one of those daughters. I know you wanted to be closer to your family, but this is a bit ridiculous. Arthur's face went pale and his stomach turned. Queen Marquis is my half-sister? What have I done? I think what you have done is obvious. What you have said is another matter. No tellings what secrets she let slip last night. Can she not be trusted? Of course not! She's as devious as a cat. Her mission was obvious, to get information out of you any way she could. Now she's taking that information back to her husband. She left for Orkney this morning with her sons. Well, 3 of them anyway. Why just 3? Her oldest Gawain's to be trained as a knight, so he's going to remain here. Arthur, oh, send him back to his parents. We won't have the son of 2 traitors here in Camelot. Oh, don't judge that child by the parents. How would you fare if we had judged you by your parents? Oh, Merlin, she tricked me completely. How could I be so blind? Well, I haven't told you the worst of it. There's more. Marquise will conceive a child. Impossible. Possible. Maybe I should have spent more time on your education. This child was probably not part of her original plan, but it will become a pawn for her and her king Lot to use against you. She now carries the only heir to the throne, your throne. I will have a son, a monster. If you don't intervene, she will bear the child that will destroy your kingdom. What must I do? I do not know yet. There are evil forces vying against your kingdom, forces that are not of this world. You do not only struggle against flesh and blood, but also against the unseen powers of the air. I must go to consult my old master, Blaze. He lives in the deep woods of Northumberland. Your old master is still alive? He must be old indeed. Keep your wisecracks to yourself. He is ancient, but wiser by far than you will ever be. Maybe he can give me guidance about the future. How long will you be gone? Until I have answers? Merlin, what shall I do in the meantime? I'm filled with dread. Camelot must continue. Life must go on. I hate myself for making this mistake. What if I fail again? Arthur, we all fail, but we must learn from our mistakes and press on. Arthur saw the old man no more that day, and on the morrow his servants reported that Merlin had ridden from Camelot in the early morning. Arthur sat brooding in his throne room, mulling Merlin's words over in his mind. He called in Sir Kay and Sir Ulfius, an elderly knight of the court, to counsel him. A child threatens our kingdom. What must I do? A child? How can a child threaten a kingdom? The Queen of Orkney carries my illegitimate child. The knights raise their eyebrows in shock. Well, brother, you're telling us your heir will be living in the court of one of our greatest enemies. Yes. Child must be killed. Kill a child. Security threat has to be destroyed. Sire, if I may interject. Yes, Ulfius, what say you? Lot will never give you access to this child or his wife. If you try to do away with it, you risk yet another war with him. Oh, who cares? Lot deserves to be destroyed for what he's tried in the past. My king, I counseled your father when he warred against the Duke of Tintagel. I told him that no man would give up his wife without a fight. My mother. You're speaking of my mother, aren't you? Yes, the Lady Egrin. Merlin told me of her only recently. She is a fine woman. Is? Does she still live? Of course, sire. Didn't you know? I did not. Where does she reside? After the death of your father, she took up residence at a nunnery. But I do know her whereabouts. Go at once. She must be brought to Camelot. I will, sire. As the old knight was dispatched, Kay sneered. My father Ector raised you, and my mother nourished you. Why do you want to mess with this Egrin person? She is my true mother, and I've never met her. Can you imagine how that feels? No, I was a legitimate child. Speaking of that, what will you do about that Orkney child? I will just have to delay judgment on that for now. Several days later, Sir Ulfius returned to Camelot with two female guests in tow. One was an elderly woman, her gown simple, her hair white. She was Egrin, who had once been Uther Pendragon's queen, but now was little more than a forgotten widow. The second was a wise-looking girl with raven black hair. Arthur greeted them joyfully. Egrin, welcome to Camelot. At the sight of her long-lost son, the old woman's eyes welled up with tears. My child, I thought I would never see you again. The last I saw you, you were but a day old, wrapped in a cloth of gold. Arthur embraced the old woman. He had been hoping for an instant connection when they touched, but for some reason her embrace left him strangely cold. When you heard that they made me king, why did you not come to me? Fear. I feared that you would not want a mother who gave you up like I did. It's all worked out for the best, as you can see. Yes, you remind me so much of your father, my darling Uther. First I lost you, and then I lost him. I've not seen my older two daughters since their wedding days many years ago. All I have left is my little Morgan. She indicated the dark-haired girl who stood submissively behind her. I know I deserve nothing from you, Arthur, but please grant me one request. Morgan is your half-sister, and these many years she has buried herself in books. She has no suitors because our position is now so lowly. Find her a royal match, then my heart can rest easily. Arthur gazed on Morgan. In her, he saw much of the same beauty he had seen in Marguise. Yet there also seemed to be innocence there too. In response to his gaze, Morgan curtsied low to the ground. Oh, no need to bow. You are my sister, and you are most welcome at Camelot. I thank you, noble King Arthur. I've heard many stories about Camelot and your court here. I have only desired one thing, and that is the library. Is it true that you have your very own? Of course. The holy monks prepared one for me in my honor on my kingship. A wave of excitement passed over Morgan's face. I went to school in a nunnery, and I must have read every parchment they owned there 10 times. Well, no wonder you never caught yourself a man. You were hidden away reading. Mother, what man would go to a nunnery looking for a wife? She is a clever girl. We'll find her an excellent match. Oh, I hope you do. She's so hungry for knowledge. I wish she was this hungry for a husband. Egrin was given the position of royal mother. Morgan became a lady of the court as well, although she spent most of her time combing the dusty shelves of Camelot's library for its most ancient texts. Arthur took an active part in the knightly training of his nephew, Gawain. For the first time, it was as if the young king had a true family, and his loneliness left him. Spring came, and Merlin had still not returned. One day a crow alighted on the walls of Camelot. A tiny scroll was attached to its leg. The men-at-arms removed the message and brought it to the king. Ah, it must be from Merlin. Arthur quickly deciphered the old man's scrawled handwriting. Dear Arthur, Blaze has shown me much about the future. I will tell you all about it when I return, but I must get you this one message. I have discovered that the child of Marguis will be born upon May Day. Use this information as you will. Cordially, M. May Day? That's fast approaching, but what could be done? Arthur's thoughts were interrupted by his royal mother. Arthur, I need your help. Yes, my lady. Perhaps you can speak to Morgan for me. Camelot is the perfect place to meet men, but since we've arrived, she spends all her time in the library, poring over old documents. How will she ever catch the eye of a lord or knight if she always has her nose stuck in a book? Of course, my lady, I will speak to her. The library of Camelot was situated deep within the castle. Piles of scrolls, papers, and books covered the small room, which was lit only by a single flickering lamp. Morgan was seated there, her fingers clenching and unclenching mechanically as her bright eyes scanned a book before her. She did not see her kingly brother enter the room. Interesting reading. Ah! Morgan quickly slammed the thick book shut, throwing a dervish of dust into the air. You startled me. Arthur drew nearer and glanced at the Latin inscription upon the book's cover. Strange choice of reading for a young lady. Have you been interested in necromancy long? Of course not. I admit I'm fascinated by the dark arts, but it's a morbid curiosity I have. Your mother, our mother, wanted me to talk to you about this. She says you read too much. I'm afraid that mother still is trying to make a lady out of me, but I cannot rest when I know there's more knowledge to be had. I'm not much for reading. Merlin reads these books often. He's always telling me about the great men of the past, their rise, their fall. I think you would like him a lot. What is he like, brother? Oh, he's cantankerous, but his heart is good, and his powers are miraculous. Morgan's eyes shone at the mention of Merlin's powers. You look on him like a father, don't you? Arthur was taken aback by the comment. I guess I do. Why do you say that? I can see it in your eyes. Not that I know much about fathers. You see, mine died when I was a little girl. I just remember fragments of him, wisps, bits here and there, really. It must be terrible for you. Not really. Time heals all wounds, rights all wrongs. At least you had a chance to know your father. You're really lucky in that respect. Lucky? I would not say it was luck to have him murdered and taken away from me. I didn't mean anything by that. You see, I never knew my true father, the Pendragon. It may have been the flickering of the lamp, but Arthur thought he saw Morgan's lips quiver at the mention of his father's name. You wish you could know more about him, about your family. That's why you summoned Mother and me here. Well, yes, how did you... I can see things. Mother calls it my intuition. What else can you tell about me, Morgan? Let me see your hand. The girl took her brother's hand into her own. I see you're troubled. A thought is always gnawing at your mind. It is. You have a dilemma that you need solved, but you do not know how to solve it. Morgan, can you see? Can you see how to solve the problem? Arthur, such powers are of the devil. What makes you think I possess such powers? Merlin uses magic, but his magic is not of the devil. Hmm. I cannot tell you the solution, but I do not know what the problem is. What's troubling you? There in the darkness of the Camelot library, Arthur unfolded his heart to his half-sister. He told her of his affair with Marguerite, who was just as much a stranger to Morgan as she had been to him. Morgan listened to all this intently. So you see, all of Camelot is in danger of being destroyed. Shame. Unless I devise a way to avoid this catastrophe. It is true that if you try to remove the child by force, Lot will have a cause against you. He will declare himself wronged. He will claim that the child was his own, and you murdered his son. It will be war. Then what can be done? You must collect all the newborn babies in the kingdom and dispose of them. What? It's the only way. If all the babies die, then it will be fair. Tell them it's a prophecy concerning a child born upon May Day, that it threatens the kingdom. They'll never agree. They must, or they are not your subjects. I can't kill innocent children. And Camelot must fall, brother. It's evil, cruel. You have brought so much good onto this land. Think of all the good that will be lost if this act is not committed. How many children will die if your knights are not there to protect them? So I ask you, which is the greater evil? A small sacrifice or losing Camelot forever? Arthur quickly departed, leaving Morgan alone in the library once again. Her eyes shone cat-like in the darkness as her fingers traced ancient words, and her lips pronounced them. That night horrific images haunted Arthur's dreams. Flames of war raging across Britain, the towers of Camelot crumbling, children crying out in the darkness. The next morning, Arthur, haggard and worn, went again to see Morgan. If I do what you say must be done, how can I explain this to my people? Tell them it was a prophecy of Merlin. This will convince them. I can't blame this act on him. You're not blaming it on him. You're telling the truth. He's the one who told you about the birth of the child, right? Well, yes, but then there is no lie in your words. What if the lords rebel? They've rebelled once and failed. Arthur, you are the most powerful king this land has ever seen. They'll comply and will see no evil in your actions. You're acting under Merlin's orders. And this will be successful. Yes, this act will achieve its goal. I've seen it. Trust me, Arthur, I'm your sister and I want what is best for you. I must think on this. Over the following nights, Arthur knew no sleep, his nightmares growing more vivid. It's a heinous act, yet it's going to save lives. I've done something so horrible by siring this child, but I'll have to do something worse to undo it. When May Day was only a few days away, Arthur summoned Sir Ulfius to him. The knight noticed dark rings under the king's eyes. Ulfius, I am going to give a strange decree. All my knights must ride forth through all of Britain and collect all the newborn babies in the land. Sire, collecting babies? Do you question your king? No, sire, but might I ask what should be done with them? Place them upon a barge and push out to sea. Then think on it no longer. But so many innocent children, sire. I didn't ask you to think. Just follow my orders. You asked for my advice before. I do not need it now. The old knight was shocked by Arthur's sharp words, but recovered his composure. I'll do as you command. The decree went out. Any newborn child must be given up to the knights of the king or be taken by force. The knights rode forth to every castle and simple shanty of the land. All newborn babes were ripped from their mothers' pleading arms. When the king's decree reached Lot's castle at Orkney, Marguerite's labor pains had already begun. No, he won't have this child. This son of mine will sit on his throne. Hide her in the mainland. Take her to a peasant's hut. They will not search there. Deliver the child. Return it here. Ah! Hurry! But the knights of Arthur were thorough. They entered the hiding place of Marguerite just after her baby boy had been delivered. She sat in a peasant's hut nursing the newborn heir to Britain. When the knights burst in, Marguerite knew at once that her plans had failed. She fell upon her child and screeched, "You shall not have him! He is mine! He's mine!" But the knights threw her roughly aside and took the screaming baby. Meanwhile, Sir Ulfius waited by the seashore for all the knights to return. This grisly business had taken days, even with their great speed. A weather-worn barge sat at the shallows. Squires were loading the crying newborns into the bottom of the boat. Many of the squires wept and averted their eyes in shame. Have all the knights reported in? The squires nodded their heads. I saw many dark days under Uther, but I never saw a deed as foul as this. Today is Britain's darkest day. Now push the vessel out to sea. The keel growled as the young men pushed the barge out to sea. The wailing of the babies grew fainter and fainter as the ship wandered adrift out over the waves. Soon all their cries were lost in the gathering mist. In his court for weeks after, Arthur had many troubles. The plan had not worked as flawlessly as Morgan had predicted. The lords and knights of Britain were infuriated. King Lot himself was there to lead the host of angry noblemen. How dare Arthur take their children from them? Even those who did not lose their own child brought the outrages of their people to Arthur's feet and cried them furiously. People, people, I am sorry for your losses, but this thing had to be done. I received a prophecy from Merlin. There is evil in this. It was a plan of Merlin, that son of a devil. No, no, it was for the good of the kingdom. Where is that old warlock anyway? I bet he wanted our children as a sacrifice. That's ridiculous. A child was born on May Day, a child that would destroy this kingdom. Taking care of that problem. King Lot, snarling, pointed an accusing finger at Arthur. A likely story. You just wanted to kill our heirs. You wanted to wipe our lines. Just because you have no son does not mean you have the right to take ours. Are you threatening your king, Lot? And if I am, how can we live under such a tyrant? Once already you have rebelled against me, and yet I spared you and allowed you to live. Do you challenge me again? I do. You are a coward not to kill me the first time. All who defy this unjust king rally to my banner. Many of the lords left in anger that day and began to muster their armies. War threatened Camelot once again. Making his way down through the castle, Arthur found his half-sister in the library, angrily confronted her. You did not tell me that this course of action would lead to more warfare. Arthur, you carry Excalibur. These wicked kings cannot stand against you. They will fail, and you will have wiped out even more of your enemies. But it is not as you said. I cannot see all of the future. At least now you can rest easy knowing that your illegitimate child is no more. Isn't that what you wanted? I wanted what was best for my people. As Arthur prepared for battle, he did not know that his struggles had been for nothing. The ship of babes broke up in churning waves and sank as it was meant to. But one child survived. Borne upon a piece of wreckage, a swaddled child was carried by the currents to a seaside castle, where he was found by the kind lord who lived there. Unbeknownst to the rest of the world, the child, Arthur's son, had lived. A week later, Merlin finally returned to Camelot. The battlefield before the castle was littered with slain warriors. The wizard noted this calmly, guiding his white donkey through the charred remains of barricades, until at last he found Arthur himself, the blood of battle still upon his armor. You've been busy while I was away. Lot and his allies brought a great army against me. Camelot has survived. Barely. Tell me how this came to be. Arthur told Merlin all that had befallen. The old enchanter listened silently. I was so eager to erase my first mistake that I made a bigger one. Took so many innocent lives. I'm not fit to be king. Yet your kingdom needs you even more now than ever. How can I ever face them again after what I've done? Well, if you repent, heaven will forgive you. I suspect your people will too. This is an important lesson. The mistakes of lesser men affect only themselves. Your mistakes affect the lives of thousands. I've been a fool, but I will spend the rest of my life making it up to them. Well, while there is no excuse for your actions, I fear you've been led astray. Didn't I tell you your half-sisters hate you? Well, yes, but I thought Morgan was different. She seemed to be a true sister. Well, let's see. She convinced you to murder a boatload of babies, started a civil war, blamed the entire thing on me. She sounds lovely. I don't understand why she would want to harm me and my kingdom. Your father killed her father. She's never forgotten it. Textbook revenge. You can spare her life if you want to, but please send her away from Camelot. I guess I was so enamored with the idea of having family it blinded me. Family is what you make it, Arthur. Choose those who are loyal to you to be your family. Do not let blood decide that for you. You're right, Merlin. At least one good thing came of this. King Lot has been slain. I'll never see that smug face again. Neither will his family. And now his half-orphaned son is squire to your court. Must I send Gawain away too? He's been training so diligently. No, do not send him away. You have taken his father from him. The least you could do is train him up to be a good man. Still hope for him. Did your master show you all this? No, but Blaise has shown me much of the future, seeing that my time is short. Merlin surveyed the battlefield once again. I saw another battle much like this one. In the future, was it a battle that I will win? I must know what lies ahead. Simply knowing what calamities lie in the future does not prevent them from happening. Fate does not change. Higher power governs us all. Then there's no hope? Oh, there's always hope. The old wizard motioned for Arthur to follow. Now, come, let's fix this mess. When Arthur returned to Camelot, he did as Merlin instructed and found a way to dispose of Morgan. He arranged a marriage with King Uriens of Gore and then summoned Morgan and Egrin to him. Brother, I'm so thankful you survived the battle. Is that so? I've made a decision. It's time you were married. Oh, at last, at last! Married? But Arthur, my place is here by your side. I've already spoken with King Uriens of Gore. He desires a wife, and you shall be his. I have no desire to marry some old buffoon. Your desires no longer matter. I am king and I command it. You shall go to the land of Gore, far away and forgotten. But I do not wish to go. I have spoken. I see. Oh, my dears, this is the happiest day of my life. What a wedding we shall have. Morgan turned and stormed from the throne room. Soon after, she was wedded to King Uriens of Gore. Following the celebrations, the kingly groom rode away with his grimacing bride. As Arthur watched their departure, it seemed as if a cloud of gloom was lifted from his mind. Farewell, sister. Enjoy your new life. Morgan saw her brother watching her departure from the battlements. You have not seen the last of me, brother. My first attempt to ruin your kingdom may have failed, but I will try again. You can make me a prisoner bride to this old fool, thinking that will get rid of me, but I will use this to my advantage. I will return when you least expect it, and I will have my revenge. Oh, my beautiful bride, I know this arrangement is still new to you, but Gore is a beautiful place. You will grow to love it. I doubt that. Suddenly a vision passed before Morgan's eyes. Wait a minute. A screaming child was laying amid a pile of wreckage on a rocky beach. An old man bent over the child and carried him back to a nearby castle. He lives. The child lives. Morgan's laughter called Uriens to grin. See, you're already feeling better. Morgan continued to laugh as she and her husband disappeared down the road.